Hi everyone, Unfiltered here. So if you've seen my top 5 video, you know I am a big fan of the Benks mist case. But what about the other Benks cases? Let's first start with the Summit Mt Blanc. This is once again a very affordable case at only $19.99. Looks fantastic with that topographic design on the back. It's got the camera control button this year. It only lacks that different type of material which then sort of slows down your finger when swiping. So it's very responsive, but not as precise, if that makes sense. It's also flush with the case, so if you have it set to press once to open camera, you might want to tweak that. The volume and action button are clicky, but just not the power button. It does not give the same feedback. It works, but it feels like it's only pressed halfway. The case feels comfortable all around. You cannot feel an unrefined bit or piece anywhere, which is great. And I love that camera bump, which has a very smooth transition towards that backplate, sort of sloped towards it. And it's very comfortable while holding. It then also has that previous camera bump slapped on top of it. And I guess the design works. It's got minimal front protection, which is equal, so no swelling at the top or bottom. Good cutouts at the bottom, and the fit of the case is also very good. Lastly, MagSafe is a 9 out of 10, so that is very good for the money. They also have the crystal, and this is the same price. And it's a full clear case. The sides are a little flexible, but obviously not as soft as the usual clear cases, so to say. So I think for yellowing, this is excellent news, since those very flexible silicone sides are the main issue here. The fit is very snug, a little too much if you ask me. The type of fit where if you want to remove it, you have to use a lot of force, and the case will make funny noises. All buttons on this case are very clicky and responsive though, so that's great. The camera control button is once again 100% flush with the case here too, and it does not feature that anti-slip material on there either. Works well though, and it's clicky too, so for taking photos, that's excellent. MagSafe is an 8 out of 10, a little less than the previous case. A very comfortable, rounded off design with this case, and it feels strong too. So objectively a good case, and even better if you think about the price tag. Then the Mist case, which is also in the Essential series from Benks, so that $19.99 price tag. I think this is the absolute winner though. The fit is just top notch, exactly right. Very snug fit, easily removed, no weird squeaks or anything when removing the case. The finish on the side is much grippier, the same rounded off design, which is very comfortable to hold. I love the camera bump solution here with the full cutout, it just looks great. The camera bump ring is minimal though, so not amazing protection or anything. But in my drop test video, I've seen cases with a much higher camera bump ring where the camera got damaged anyway. So there is so much factors to that too. Minimal but good front screen protection, equal once again, so no swelling. And I just love that ceramic plate design on the back with that smoke transparent design. Looks so good. MagSafe is a 9 out of 10, but it could very well be a 10 out of 10. It's amazing. Very strong magnets on this case. So much to like on this case. I would absolutely recommend it to anyone. Now, of course, they also offer the ArmorAir this year. And I have not seen all aramid fiber cases yet, so it's a little bit difficult for me to compare. I used to do these slap tests to see if the corner would pop off when dropped, but since then I've learned two things. One, that test is flawed, since in the actual drop test, the only case where it did pop off was one where I had not identified the issue yet. And then 2, the ArmorAir or other aramid fiber cases actually do a pretty good job at protecting the phone. So the fit for this case is good if you put it on the phone, but then there's room for it to move, especially in the corners. But how much of an issue that will be, I cannot really judge. I think the most important thing is that when laying this case flat on a table, you can feel that it gets pushed back up. So that would be enough for me not to buy it. I think the fit needs to be a lot snugger this time. Camera bump is very nice though, and it still has that 4-corner front screen protection. But then the ArmorGrid and the ArmorTint. I honestly thought these would be the same and that it was just design, but the ArmorGrid has such a snug fit. It's very hard to get off the iPhone. So if you want this case with a snug fit that's barely removable, then the ArmorGrid is for you. I mean, it's almost part of the iPhone when you slap this case on there. Usually, I'm not a big fan of that, but for this case, since it's already pretty minimal, I'd actually prefer it over the fit of the regular ArmorAir. Fucking hell.
5 minutes later.
So this is exactly the ArmorAir experience, but better. Same goes for the ArmorTint. Much snugger, but not as snug as the ArmorGrid. So I hope you can take my advice on it and that it's not random, because then it's very difficult for me to even say something about these cases. I think you can rank it like this: ArmorAir, too loose, sloppy fit. ArmorGrid is the exact opposite. Too snug, but never comes off. And the ArmorTint is somewhere in between. Speaking purely design, they all look amazing, and MagSafe is a 9 out of 10, so that's great. I think the ArmorGrid wins it for the looks though. It just looks premium. Now for the ArmorPro, which is basically the same case but more rugged version with the sides, they also have more versions. The ArmorPro Montage, the ArmorGrid, and then the ArmorPro Prestige. A lot of Armor and a lot of Pro, so let's see what I think. They all seem to have a good fit as far as installing goes. On basically every version there is an issue with the front top part though. As you can see, it leaves room there. You can try to push it back, but it's not perfect, so it keeps going back to that position. I've heard rumors more case manufacturers had this problem this year. So it might already be fixed when you're watching this video, but as of the samples I have here, all of them basically have that. Buttons are all very clicky, so that is great. On the Prestige and ArmorPro versions, there is no aramid fiber on the sides. The Prestige version does have that, but what's funny is that the texture that's present on the back is completely gone on the sides. So they did sand that down, and then on the top it's present again. Odd choices, since I would love that texture on the side, since it makes the case very grippy. MagSafe is the same 9 out of 10 here too, which is amazing since the cases are thicker. And they all have that camera bump ring made out of aluminium, so it looks very premium. At the bottom, they all have tiny circle cutouts for your speakers, which looks good, but muffles the sound slightly. The ArmorPro and Montage texture is barely noticeable. The Prestige is the most apparent one as far as texture goes, and the Grid is sort of in between again. So here too, there's choices to be made. They all feel like very strong and protective cases though, and I think you cannot go wrong with either. Now, if you've bought any of these cases, make sure to let me know how you like them, and if you aren't done watching yet, be sure to also watch this video, or maybe even that one, and I'll hope to see you there.